Pooper doops, it's Riff Arcade. I'm I'm sorry, this is serious, Sam. Getting serious?
Very serious. Okay.
Let's go. Anyway,
You're not being serious enough.
I'm sorry. You're fired. No. So I have the controller now. I'm Xbox 360ing as hard as I can. And yeah, we're playing Serious Sam.
Backside of water.
Secret
Where
health.
was that when I needed it? Yeah. Oh, there they are.
Okay.
I didn't even ask butts the controls. I just assume right trigger makes the gun
They're
happen.
behind you.
Sure does.
Stop.
They really don't give you any warning that they could be behind you. They're just behind you.
Yeah, they throw them at you.
Literally, as you said that, they launched themselves at me. Okay. Oh, things are getting serious. Good gravy. Bah.
You saw me play this in college, right?
I did.
Like, walked in and you're like, "What is this?"
Yeah, I would walk into Butts' dorm in Johnson Hall, and he'd have headless people with bombs running at him, and I was like, "What is this?" And you said, Sam. Between episodes. That wasn't secret ammo at all. Right before we started the episode, we started the conversation about how the Xbox 360 is as far away from now in 2023 as the Super Nintendo was to the Xbox 360 when the Xbox 360 came out.
Candy cane.
Oh, this works. Except for this one frog that continues to live. There we go.
Well, but like as a brave frog to like run at a guy with a shotgun.
He wanted it, he got it. Are they behind me? They like to be behind you in this game.
That's what I like. Is that like I can bring games that I enjoy, which is like the 360, GameCube. That's like my era of gaming.
Yeah.
And it's like that's still retro.
It's still on theme. As much as I...
Ooh.
What?
You should go down there.
Things got serious. As much as I hate to admit it, and as old as it makes me feel, like, the Xbox 360 is years and years old. Oh. Oh, right. I need to be saving.
It's a lot.
Well, when we were growing up, usually you could just tell by looking at the game if it was retro or not. I mean, just by the way it looked and the graphics it has. And, some games, you look at them, they look great,
I'd say that.
after all this time. Like, even some of the Assassin's Creed games, you look at them, you're like, dang, that looks way too good to be a retro game. But then you find out it was made in, 2004, and you're like, wait, what?
Right. Like, you can't tell anymore.
Nope. Can't go by the way it looks anymore.
That and the other side of the coin is what was that that farming Doom game that we played during Halloween?
Oh, Dusk.
Dusk?
Yeah.
Like that was released a couple of years ago, not even that. And
Yeah.
like that looks old. So like now they're going the other way. They're like, let's make it look retro.
That's true. Yeah, now you
Really can't tell.
never can tell, kid.
I also think that, the plethora of modern day open world games that have been thrown at us over the last few years has kind of taught everybody that just because you can doesn't mean you should all the time. Because, a lot of times, like, I think one of the big culprits here for me is Just Cause, like that video game series. It's cool in its own way. It's, a beautiful game, but there is so much stuff to do that you kind of just sit there and go, all right, well, what do I do next? And it's so open, it's so massive, but there's very little purpose in going everywhere to get every magical MacGuffin. And so you kind of just get tired of it and you turn it off. Whereas, some of the more recent, oh gosh, the word has escaped me, roguelike games, like Hades came out. And, you can sit there and play Hades for hours, but there's not much to it in terms of graphics or anything like that. It's just solid gameplay and a solid oh gosh, what's the word? Game cycle.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, the door closed behind me. That's what happened.
The game loop.
Yes, it's a good game loop, a feedback loop. That's the words. And you feel really good about playing the game, and I hope that is the next direction that modern games go is just because you could make a real life sandbox of Manhattan doesn't mean you should, because if you don't fill every single spot with something relevant and interesting, people aren't going to play it anyway.
Was that what was that Tom Clancy game that was trying to compete with like Destiny and stuff? Where they're like, we have a
Rainbow
1-1
Six, Siege or something like
Maybe
that.
Siege. It was
or
like
the Division.
The Division.
Yeah.
That was it. We have a 1-to-1 replica of Manhattan. You can go anywhere. And it's like, that's great. That's cool. Your game's really boring. I don't want to go in this Manhattan.
Yeah.
So, Candy.
Yeah, it's been we've been talking about this as we've gotten older, is that like when we were kids, at least I know this is true for me, you guys can agree or not, but like if a game was like, this game takes 130 hours to beat, I was like, yes, that's exactly the game I want. And I would like, that's part of the reason I fell in love with RPGs, is because when you're a kid and you only get like one game per birthday or Christmas or what have you, you want that game to last.
Mm-hmm.
But
Get your money's worth.
exactly. But now as an adult,
Just there's such a brain on top.
like it's hang on.
They're treating you just like life. They're beating you down every possible second.
Things are getting ridiculous in this game.
I think it's not as serious. Could be a little more
not.
serious.
It could be ridiculously serious, though.
Nice. Yeah, those Valkyries, yeah, taking it too long.
No, I think the shotgun is like the worst weapon to use.
Change it. What are you doing? You have like 20 weapons.
Okay, we'll do this.
Okay.
Okay. That didn't go as well as I
Use the Thomas gun.
Here's a random thought. How many video games do you think exist where that sound is in it?
Not enough.
So many. Here's a different shotgun.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some guy on the internet somewhere who has counted every single video game that featured that particular like punch sound and probably has it all listed out on a Wikipedia page or something.
The same guy that got bored of it. Can you pet the dog?
Oh yeah.
He's like, where's the punch sound?
Oh, what I was gonna say. Sorry, I got super distracted by dying constantly. But jeez. That's not gonna change. Was like now I'm actually looking for shorter games with tighter experiences. So like the feel good serotonin stuff comes at more regular intervals.
Mm-hmm.
So that because as an adult, like I have all the money but none of the time. That's the trade-off, right? Like when you're a kid, you have all the time but no money. Now I have all the money but no time. So I need games that make me feel as good as if I just played a 60-hour RPG and beat it, but I can get the experience in about 15 minutes. You know?
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. And I would say that, you know,
Oh, you were doing good that time.
So I'm always going to play through, you know, whatever the new hot open world game is that comes out because, you know, like especially like recently I've been playing Hogwarts Legacy. That was awesome. You know, I read some of the Harry Potter books as a kid. Harry Potter's pretty cool. I wanted to check it out. It was great and it was fun to play, but, you know, obviously I'm ready for something else. And the games that I tend to lean more towards these days are the ones that you can pick them up and go whenever you want, and you won't have to sit there and remind yourself about what's happening in the story.
Yeah.
I like simpler plots now these days, which is one of the reasons why I like Breath of the Wild so much, was because the plot was incredibly simple. And I never had to sit there and go, wait, now what happened there again?
What was I doing? Yeah.
And I have like a top 3 games where I feel like that's a huge problem of the plot is so deep and so intricate that if you walk away from it for a month and you come back to it, you have no idea what's going on. Final Fantasy XII is going to be one of them.
For sure.
Lost Odyssey is going to be one of them. And I'm going to put Final Fantasy 13 on there just because because it deserves to be on there.
I forgot about that sound effect.
Oh, so
Spawn
sad.
behind you.
Also, Fable. I'm going to put Fable on that list because I always forgot what was going on in Fable.
Do we have time for a quick rant?
Okay, go for
Sure,
it.
why not?
So Fable, freaking Fable. So first off, I got it for free over Xbox Live Gold years ago, and played through it back then as well. Not the first Fable, it's Fable 3. Fable 1 is fine. It's exempt from this rant. But Fable 3 has a mechanic towards the end. Like the whole game, wow, I do not have any health.
You gotta watch that, man.
The whole game, you're going against your evil brother, who is king, but he's like not a good king, and he's spending all the money frivolously and very aristocratic, etc., etc. And when you finally overthrow him halfway through the game, you find out that the reason he's been so terrible is that there's some army of darkness that has been foretold to be coming. And so the reason he's been hoarding all the money in his own coffers is so that he can afford the weapons and hire an army later on that will let him fight the darkness. So then you become king, and the game says, all right, you've got like a year before the evil army comes, and you've got to either build an army or make enough money that you can still like build the orphanage and like feed the kids and like still be able to like do the cool stuff. So like, I hate where this story's going, but what if I just go down here? Can I just like
Yeah,
go
you
down
can
here
just go down
first?
there, I think.
Okay.
Not that way.
You did it.
I did it. I made it down there. But me being, I always like to swing like hard towards like in any game with a morality system. I always try to swing hard to the light, and
It's not fun.
yeah. But so I was trying to like build the orphanage and save up for the army, but the game fast forwards at random intervals. So it's like, okay, like you finished this quest and now 30 days have passed, and then like, oh, you finished this quest, now 10 more days have passed, etc., etc. And so I was going to have it both ways. I was going to like do some side quests and save up enough money to do all the good stuff and beat the army at the end. And what happened was, I still had like half a year to go, and I completed the mission, and they were like, all right, today's the day. The evil army is here. Hope you saved up. And I had nothing in the coffers, and I think this game was auto-save, so like I couldn't even go back. And so like the end game began, and the evil army came, and like it still lets you win and beat the final boss, but it flashes the message that like all of your villagers, like everyone in the kingdom has died due to your negligence. And I was like, this game's bullcrap. And sure enough, like in the post game, I can now load up my game and there are no villagers. Like I'm just in the world by
Oh,
myself.
jeez.
I'm all by myself.
And oh yeah, that Green Day bonus track. And that was my Fable 3 experience. It basically said like you can either
So it forced you to either go one way, like you either had to recruit hard or save all your money in order to save everyone. And if you tried to like go both ways, then it was not going to work out for you.
Couldn't do
right.
both
So
ways.
I feel like the ultimate message of the game is like they tried to turn the morality system on its head and be like, in real life, you can't just be good. Like you have to like take advantage, like in places where you can. And I was like, well,
Did you flip the table? This is stupid.
I have not played it since. Like I beat the
Dead to
game.
you.
No one was in the village. I turned it off and like let my Xbox Gold license expire. Like that was
Killed
it.
Xbox Gold for you. No, I'm not doing this.
All right, so screw Fable 3. That's gonna do it for this episode of Riff Arcade. It got a little serious at the end.
It did.
I have to admit,
Sam.
frickin', what a silly Billy.